what happens when you read a book, I find absolutely stunning. Here's some product of a tree with little black squiggles on it. You open it up, and inside your head is the voice of someone speaking who may have been dead 3,000 years. And yet there he is talking directly to you. What a magical thing that is.
How do you define intelligence?
I would say that as far as human beings are concerned, it's our ability to put a great many facts together, to understand the way the world really is, and to manipulate it, to control the environment. For most of the history of life on this planet, the organisms had almost all the information they had to deal with in their genes, hereditary information, instinct. Then, about maybe 100 million years ago, a little longer ago than that, there came to be a reptile that for the first time in the history of life had more information in its brains than in its genes. And that was a major step, symbolically, in the evolution of life on this planet. Well, now we have an organism, us, which can store more information outside the body altogether than inside the body, and that's in books and computers, television, video cassettes, and that extraordinarily expands our ability to understand what's happening and to manipulate, control our environment if we do it wisely for human benefit. But the thing that I find most striking is the enormous, remarkable capability of virtually every small child for learning. They start out eager, intellectually, wide-eyed, asking extremely clever questions about the world. And then something happens, by and large, to discourage them. And I think it's a tremendous waste of natural resources. For example, a kid asks, "Mommy, why is the grass green?" And very often you get an answer like, "Oh, don't ask dumb questions," or "who knows," when in fact it's an extremely profound question. How much better it would be to say to the child, "That's a good question, Johnny. I don't know the answer. Maybe we can look it up." Or, "Nobody knows. Maybe when you grow up, you'll be the person to find out." I think kids who are discouraged from asking those questions wind up learning the lesson that there's something bad about using the mind, and we lose resources, and we need those intellectual resources because we are in very perilous times. And I think the complex and subtle problems that we face can only have complex and subtle solutions. And we need people able to think complex and subtle thoughts. And I believe a great many children have that capability if only they're encouraged.
Plants As countless as all the grains of sand on all the beaches of the earth. These points of light in the sky, every one of them is as mighty a star as our sun.
Planet is only a tiny part of the vast cosmic tapestry, a starry fabric of worlds yet untold.
Those worlds in space are as countless as all the grains of sand on all the beaches of the earth. Each of those worlds is as real as ours. In every one of them, there's a succession of incidents, events, occurrences, which influence its future. Countless worlds, numberless moments, an immensity of space and time. And our small planet, at this moment, here we face a critical branch point in history. What we do with our world right now will propagate down through the centuries and powerfully affect the destiny of our descendants.
The nearby stars, the ones you can see with the naked eye, those are all in what's called the solar neighborhood. But it's a very tiny place in the Milky Way galaxy.
Our sun is a star. It seems large because it's so close, but for all that, it's a humdrum and quite ordinary star. Near it are the neighboring stars in space. Because of our vantage point, we're able to recognize the familiar constellations of the night sky. To the north, we can see the Big Dipper. pointing towards the pole. The Big Dipper is composed of stars, some of them intrinsically bright, but rather far away, some dimmer, but closer in. The constellations that seem to be points of light painted on the vault of the heavens are really composed of stars at a variety of distances. And if there are creatures that live on planets of other stars, they will see different constellations in the night skies than we do. Well, we reached a star, which astronomers call Gamma Cephei. It's so far from the sun that it takes light some 50 years to travel from the one to the other. The earliest signals of our technical civilization on the Earth are only just now reaching Gamma Cephei. These signals are the earliest radio broadcast. Let's take a look back at the way we've come. Let's try to see if we can recognize where we've come from. Which of these stars is the sun? The sun is such an insignificant star that we can't make out which of all these stars it is. Let's head home to our familiar solar system. In our little excursion among the stars, we traveled a total equivalent distance of perhaps 100 light years, 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 light years. We can now amble back towards home